Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of eCommerce Mastery. I'm your host, Ben Gothard, and today we have the honor of speaking with the one, the only, the man who's going to teach you how to bring digital and physical and memberships and that beautiful recurring revenue together, the man, Carlos Redlich. How you doing today, Carlos?
What's happening, man? Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Dude, thank you for coming on the show and sharing the knowledge that you've gained, this battle tested, hard earned experience that you have. Man, I'm so excited for this episode. For everybody who's watching, listening, I want to break down what you can expect. Number one, we're going to hear Carlos's story, and I'm really excited for that. It's going to be a good one. Number two, we're going to break down how physical products and a monthly membership work together, how you can find the right people to sell to, find the right front end offer to get them into your ecosystem, and then how to make sure you have something to nurture them with and get that beautiful recurring monthly revenue every single month. And then we're going to have a very, very special call to action at the end where Carlos will open up some of his goodie book and you can hop right on in there. So anyways, without any further ado, Carlos, I would love to hear your story.
Sweet, man. Well, my story is a little, I don't know if it's interesting or not, but it's definitely a little different, I would say. I didn't really start off as a marketer. I'm a long-time martial artist. I used to do martial arts a lot more, but I'm a long-time martial artist. Started when I was 12 years old. When I was about 25 years old, I started martial arts school with my good friend, Vit Singh. And we opened up in Jacksonville, Florida, lived in Miami, didn't want to compete with our instructor. So we moved like 300 miles north and did it the honorable way, I would say. And then started up a school there. Thing is, we were paying 10 grand a month in rent and we didn't have 10 grand a month. And it was crazy. We did all the things that I guess most people do. They borrow money from friends, they take out loans, they do all this crazy stuff. And then since we weren't marketers, we didn't really think of how to get clients into the door, customers, students into the door. We just said, well, we've got a really cool gym. We've got like a cage. People will come, right? Like that's what happens. It didn't happen that way. So we, fortunately, we lived in Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a really cool beach. And so I printed out a bunch of flyers with my buddy. We spent like maybe 100, 200 bucks, got 10,000 flyers from vistaprint.com back in the day. And again, this is not like I was not marketing savvy. We didn't even have money to direct mail these postcards to people. So what we did is we just went to the beach and passed out flyers. Now my method for passing out flyers had evolved a little bit because before it was just like, here's a flyer, here's a flyer, here's a flyer, here's a flyer. And then all of those flyers ended up on the ground. And I was like, man, that's money. Like I'm spending money on these flyers. Like I can't have that happen. I'm already broke. Give me those flyers. That's like pennies. Like I need these pennies. And so essentially what we ended up doing is I would run up to people in the beginning and I would say, I would always run up to them at like front facing, never from behind because they're going to think I'm going to rob them or something. So always from the front, I'd say, hey, what's happening, guys? I'm not crazy, but I just started up a martial arts school like 2 miles away. And I was wondering if you guys would be open to coming for a free week. Here, check it out. And I would put the flyer right into their damn chest so they'd have to take it. And then as soon as they take it, they're like, I've kind of broken this pattern. They don't know what's going on. I'm like, I'm not crazy. And then they look at it and there would be two responses. One would be, yeah, 100%. Then give me that free week. It's pretty simple. The other response would be like an instant no, because they didn't know what the hell just happened. Like, nah, I don't know what this is. And I would, instead of them throwing that flyer on the ground, I didn't do this like with my thinking. I just kind of reactively did this and turned out to be a good thing. Before they threw the flyer down, when they said no, I would just grab it out of their hands. I'd say, oh, well, then this isn't for you then. No problem. Hey, no worries. I just gonna need that flyer back. They're like, well, I didn't even see the full flyer, man. How do you know I don't want it? I was like, well, you said you weren't interested. I don't want to waste your time. But if you are interested, I can hook you up with a free week. Do you want to hold on to the flyer? Well, yeah, let me get the flyer. All right, check the flyer out. And then what's the best email to go ahead and schedule that free week for you? And I'll write it down on a piece of paper. We had a little pad. I'd write it down. I'd get my leads that way. We schedule them, bring them into the school. And that was like my marketing, right? Fast track that a little bit. And I started making, before we started making, we were basically breaking even after 8 months. We were making like 11 grand a month in sales. in memberships, right? And we were paying 10 grand a month, so it's not like we were making any money. And I quickly realized that this was a very difficult business for me, especially I didn't really know any marketing. But then I started realizing this copywriting stuff, which my original martial art instructor, Dwight Woods, had like exposed me to, but I didn't really take it too seriously. But that's how he built his school with good copy, good marketing, all this stuff. I started writing sales letters for our gym and figuring out, maybe I can get some people to come and check us out if I send this to them. But I didn't have enough for stamps, so we would just drop it off in their mailboxes. I don't know how legal that is, but we did it. And and so eventually, though, I started finding different groups on Facebook where that were marketing and copywriting related and all that cool stuff. And so I would submit my copy to get critiqued by all these expert copywriters. And then what happened is I would actually get clients from that. Now, I was not a copywriter. I was a martial art guy who just wrote copy to try and build his martial arts school. And then people were messaging me saying, "Hey, I like that direct mail letter you did for like losing weight and all this stuff. Can you write something like that for my gym or for my school or whatever it is?" And I was charging people like $200 or $150 for a sales letter because I didn't know you could charge thousands of dollars for these things. And I was just like, who's going to pay for this? Like, sure, I'll put together a little Google Doc for you. Just shoot me $100, $150 or whatever. So they started doing that. I don't know if it worked for them or any of that, but I do know that I would write it in like a day because it was like a 4-page sales letter. It wasn't like a 40-page sales letter. And hand it in. They would like it. They'd give me testimonials, and then they would refer me business. And this was like the beginning of my copywriting career, where I was thinking, man, I just wrote this in like 40 minutes, an hour, and I got paid 100, $200. Like, this is incredible. If I did this every day, I'd have a really, man, this is amazing. I was like thinking of all the numbers in my head. And I guess speed it up maybe a month or so, and I realized that these groups were like really good for business because I mean, people were paying me without me trying. Maybe if I tried a little, I could get some clients just by posting in these little groups, right? Because I didn't know paid ads, I didn't know any marketing at this point, and I could barely write my name. So I did that, and fortunately, within like 6 months, we had broken our $100,000. And I was like, this is incredible because I just kept charging more. And then I just kept getting repeat clients. And then I would sell clients on $10,000 a month retainers. And it was like working. I just didn't think it would work. I didn't have this, I don't think I had the perspective that a lot of other copywriters have. I didn't know what the rules were. I didn't know what people really charged. I was like, it would be dope to have 10 grand a month. I'm just going to start charging people 10 grand a month and maybe someone will take it. And like the third person I asked for 10 grand a month said it like, sure, that works. I'm like, oh my God, I should have said 20, this is amazing. And so anyways, that kind of like showed me this entire world of marketing and copyright. It was the first time I was making 6 figures that was like not all going to rent for the gym. And I was like, this is incredible. So did that for quite a few years, maybe from like 28, I'm 33 now. So I started my gym at 25. I probably did this copywriting stuff for a lot of other clients until I was about 30 or so. And then when I got to 31, 32, I started trying to figure out my own offers. I was thinking, all of these clients I'm writing for, in my head, I'm like, they're not all geniuses, right? But they're all millionaires. So how are we going to replicate this situation here? And I realized that they're hiring the copywriter to write this copy. But what's really interesting is they had the funnel, they had the traffic, they had the offer, and they just needed a copywriter to kind of plug in a few things here and there. And so I realized that although my piece was very important to conversions, it was just one element. It was just one piece of the puzzle. There's a lot of other pieces in here to really make a business grow that didn't depend on my time being traded for dollars all the time. And so I started working with different clients and started seeing that a lot of them would do low tripwire offers, like a free book, because it was in the guru space. So they would do free books, upsell people to $1,000 programs, then sell them on the phone for like $10,000, $25,000. I'm like, this is incredible. And so I started doing in tons of different niches, failed miserably a bunch of times. And then I came across, not like I made this up, but I kind of pieced 2 things together. And I'm sure I'm not the only one to have done this, but I'm the only one who told me to do this. So this is why I'm, anyways, I don't want to appear too cocky because I didn't make this up. But anyways, what I realized is like a lot of the people who were doing tripwire funnels and free book offers and free plus shipping and all this stuff, they were only making front end revenue, or what I call front funnel revenue, which is whatever they made in the funnel is all they made from that client. There wasn't future sales down the line. There was no monthly, there was no high ticket offer. There was none of that. It was just what we made in the funnel. That's what we made minus our cost to fulfill and ads. And that's a crazy thing to do, because what you're doing is you're buying a bunch of customers to come into your business, and then you're just not selling them anymore. You're just kind of relying on this one trick pony thing. And so what we did is we combined the digital element, and I'm kind of going into this a lot, but if you ever want me to shut up and pause, just let me know. But just gonna keep on rolling. So
Definitely keep on rolling.
so what we started doing is we did the tripwire stuff. We found, and I'll give specific examples. We did the tripwire stuff, but we needed money to continue to float advertising because we were breaking even for the most part in our funnels, which sounds cool, but if you're breaking even forever, you're not making money and it's just not worth it anymore. It's just a headache. And so we needed an element that would give us recurring income that didn't require us to continuously have to fulfill stuff physically and have all these hard costs. So that's when we started doing private label rights fulfillment. And I'll tell you what that is. So there's a little, I'll give you one website. There's millions of websites, but one of the ones I use is idplr.com. And what that does, or what that is, it's a website that has a bunch of pre-made content, pre-made video courses, articles, emails, everything, right? It's all pre-made by other people. And you can buy the rights to that and resell it and slap your name on it if you want, modify it, do whatever you want. And that's what we did. The thing is, you're not the only one to own this product. Like tons of other people do. They rebrand it and they just sell the same content over and over again. So we went that route because I was like, well, I don't really know enough about some of these niche markets to really like be a guru in it. But that doesn't mean we can't get recurring income. So what we did is we would sign people up into a monthly membership where they would get digital training on whatever it is. So for example, we have a religious space and people pay us $9 a month to access a Bible study that we give them every single day. It's a video Bible study. And so they purchase a necklace, they enroll in a monthly membership for $9 a month. The necklace is free plus shipping and handling, $9. And then they enroll in a 30-day test drive, and that test drive rebills them at $9 a month. And for $9 a month, they get daily videos talking about the Bible study, right? And so we do that in that niche, and we do that in the yoga niche and the survival niche. We're doing that in a few different ones. And the key ingredient in all of this is you have to have a physical tripwire product. You have to have a physical product. The way we did it is we just went on AliExpress. We found some products that we could fulfill for $3 or less. The ones that we found work the best across all of the niches are necklaces. I don't know why. Even when I sell to men, they buy necklaces. I don't know what it is. So necklaces work. And then you also want to make sure that you are including that monthly continuity in there with the digital stuff. Because if you don't do that, it's just like you're spinning your wheels. You're not really going to make money.
That is awesome.
And that was a long intro, huh?
Oh, totally. So worth it. So cool. And I want to get us refocused here and really dive into the core content, because we did make the promise of finding that niche. Then we want to talk about how to actually do the tripwire into the continuity. And then we do want to talk about how to keep it going. So let's dial back down into how to find the right niche, how to find the right group of people to sell to.
So there's tons of different niche markets out there, but the thing that I always want to keep in mind is I want people who are irrationally passionate about something. For example, if I am selling in the religious space, I can't say that, or I can tell somebody in that space, Jesus doesn't exist, but that doesn't mean they're going to believe it. I can say that as much as I want if I were an atheist, but I can't tell someone who's a big believer that Jesus doesn't exist. They're just going to believe it. The same thing is true if I were to go into survival space and tell the survivalists, hey, the apocalypse is not happening. Like, we're not going to all die tomorrow. You don't need 1,000 rounds, or 1,000 rounds is that much. I have 1,000. You don't need like 1,000,000 rounds of ammo and the 20 sandbags. You don't need that. But just because you tell them that, and in your head that's logical, that doesn't mean they're going to do it. They're irrationally passionate, which means they're going to do that because that's what no one can tell them differently, right? That's who you want to sell to. So a lot of the almost esoteric type things work well as kind of too, right? So astrology, for example, you can't tell someone who believes in astrology is hogwash. It doesn't exist. You can believe that, but someone who's deep in astrology is going to just believe in astrology, no matter what you say. Same thing with numerology. You can say numerology is a bunch of BS. It doesn't matter what I say. They are irrationally passionate about this science of numerology. That's what they're going to believe in. And so you want to start thinking of your niche markets just like that. I'll give you one other example. let's say you want to sell in the dog space. Well, dogs are very interesting because you can have some breeds where, sure, they're passionate, but if you say, a Chihuahua is kind of dumb, it's like, yeah, maybe, but I still love my Chihuahua. I don't care. It's not really, it's not too passionate. But there is a specific type of dog breed. I don't know if you'll guess it, but there's a specific type of dog breed that works really well when it comes to being irrationally passionate. And that dog breed is pit bulls. Because people who have pit bulls either are, I mean, they are madly in love with pit bulls because they are constantly fighting the other side of people who are saying pit bulls are evil, they're going to kill your babies and eat everything around you and just murder stuff, right? So they are constantly defending their dog, which means they are irrationally passionate about that dog. I mean, you can't say pit bulls are evil because they own a pit bull and they think they're amazing. They put their head in the pit bull's mouth and it's like, look, it doesn't kill me, right? So it's like all these types of things you want to think of when you jump into a niche. It can't just be a random niche where people are selling in. That's kind of like the old school way of thinking of it. Like if there's people selling in it, that's a good niche to go into. I would also challenge you to start thinking of, are people selling in it? We need that. But are they irrationally passionate? If I walked up to them and said, hey, this thing is not true, will they defend it to their death? Will they just, to their grave, they'll just be defending the heck out of pit bulls are not evil, or Jesus exists, or I need my sandbags and whatever it is, and survival stuff, whatever it is. So that's the first step. You need an irrationally passionate audience. Now, there's a few places you can go to get your mind thinking about this. One place is clickbank.com. You can sign up as an affiliate over there and just look at their affiliate marketplace, and they break everything down into different niche markets. Another one is maxweb.com, which is another affiliate marketplace. And you can look at the campaigns section, and they have the campaigns broken down into different niche markets. So you can kind of just get your brain thinking about what's working right now. And if people are interested in CBD, for example, is that irrationally passionate? It probably is, right? So that's where you start. You got to find an irrationally passionate niche. And then from there, the second step is you need to find a physical product. I go on AliExpress. You probably find some on Wish. There's tons of different places you can, the Dropified app, there's tons of places you can go to, right? So as soon as you find that physical product, now you start testing it. Now, here's how I personally test my product. Sometimes for some of our funnels, it's taken like 5 tests before we get it going. But the thing is, the way we do it is we just start with necklaces, because we know necklaces across the board for some reason tend to work for us, more so than bracelets and other things. So even when we sell the men, necklaces that are women necklaces somehow work, right? Like I have one in the martial arts space where my audience is 99% men, but I sell a female necklace with the martial art logo on it, and that thing is selling. So it's like necklaces are what I first start with. But then I always put $100 per test. So we use Facebook ads for advertising. Now there's YouTube, there's tons. I think YouTube may be a little bit more expensive in some, at least for us it is. But there's tons of different places. But for us, I'll use Facebook as an example. So I usually spend about $100 per test over the course of a week. So I'll test a necklace funnel. If I spend $100 over 5 to 6 days, we get like no orders, maybe like 1 order. That means it's not a good offer probably. And so I don't sit there and try and fix the copy and modify this, because with physical products, it's so much easier to sell than digital products, because you're not selling a video or air or PDFs or whatever. You're selling, there's some kind of value in this. It's just by looking at it, it naturally has value. And so the ideal situation is you can basically just put a picture of the product, a cool headline saying, get this for free, just cover shipping and handling of $9, some proof like testimonials, a guarantee badge saying you're going to refund them if they don't get it, ever or whatever. And that's it. If it can work with those basic elements, you've got a pretty solid like business right there that you can mess with. The thing is, you just have to find that one product. And like I said, sometimes it takes us about 4 to 5 tests, so about $400 to $500 to actually find that product. But once it works, it works, right? It makes it very worth it. You just want to make sure that you spend a little bit, right? I mean, some people have humongous budgets. I like $100 personally, because if you can't turn $100 into a $9 sale, like that already isn't a good number. But if you can't even get one sale with $100 spend, it just means you got to switch the product. Don't worry about anything else. So that's the second thing. We want to make sure we have the physical product, and maybe you set up 4 or 5 that that you have ready to go. So if this one doesn't work, we can automatically switch to the next one. Speed is what you want to be able to implement very quickly. You don't want this to take forever. Test for a week. At the end of the week, if it works, you keep on rolling. If it doesn't work, switch that thing out the exact same day and keep it going. But now once
So,
you
so
go
I
ahead.
want to jump in here for a second because I think there is a little bit of I think there's some clarification we need. What would you consider a successful test? Like at what point, if one sale or no sales is an unsuccessful test, at what point is it successful, and do you keep rolling with that product?
So if I'm about 75, if I make 75% of my money back, I'll keep it going. So like if I spend $100 and I make 70, $80, I'll keep that thing running because I know all I've got to do is increase the average order value, which means I can work on the upsells. If the front end is working, well, we also get another payment out of them next month. So there's that. So that if I make $70 on the front end, I'm probably I'm going to make my money back probably next month, but we don't want to have to wait that long. But what that tells me is that I'm getting some front end sales, almost enough to break even. And many of these funnels are designed to break even, and then you make the money on the back end membership. But all I've got to do now is increase our average order value. So now that we know we spent $100, we've gotten whatever $75 back, and that equals to however many customers. Now we have to just know, Facebook will tell, anybody who runs ads will know, Facebook will tell you how much it's costing you to acquire a customer. And then it just becomes a game of, is your average cart value or average order value higher than what it's costing you to acquire a customer? And if it is, or if it's roughly the same, to me, that's a winning campaign because my money is made on that back end recurring membership. So if I can get thousands of subscribers in here for free, essentially because we break even, or just a little bit of money, I am more than happy to do that because I know they're all going to rebuild. 9 times 1,000 is $9,000 a month. So I'm okay with paying 500 or even $1,000 to make $9,000 a month. You know what I mean? Like it's okay. So you also have to kind of understand the business model of what you're trying to do. What's your long-term goal? A lot of folks will look at that and say, well, I'm only breaking even, or I'm only making 70% of my money back. That's not a winning campaign. I need to get another product, maybe charge more on the front end. And that's not usually the case. I'm a fan of the charging a little bit less on the front end, increasing the average order value in the upsells, and then making the money in the recurring membership. And then something you want to include, I'll just give you my personal formula of testing, is whenever I get the front end to work, usually with a necklace or something, my following upsell is essentially get like 10 more of the exact same necklace for $57. And then my downsell is like, okay, you didn't take that. Get like 3 more for $27 or something, right? And then after that, we push them to a canvas purchase for $97. And so we go from necklaces to a canvas purchase, and the canvas, you can fulfill it from your app, I'm assuming. So you can just find this stuff and it increases the average order value, but it makes it very simple to test because across the board, that kind of pattern, that product flow from necklace to more necklaces to a canvas, tends to work really well for our people.
First of all, thank you for breaking that down and giving us some depth of products. That's a blueprint right there. And I think you probably, for the people that take action on this, you probably just made them wealthy. So thank you for that. And so at what point now we have our irrationally passionate audience, we have an idea of what our testing tripwire beginner funnel should be. How do we then transition from this tripwire, this front end product into that membership? How do we sell it? At what point do we make that offer?
So you can do it at 2 points. I do it on the way I do it is right on the front end. So we make people check a little box, and we also tell them in the copy, and we have it in like 3 spots. So because if you try to be like slick with it, what's going to happen is you're just going to get a bunch of chargebacks and you're going to lose your merchant account. So you don't want that to happen. So you don't have to be slick with it. If we're paying for ads, like there's people who will take an offer because it's a free, it's a free 30-day test drive. And in their mind, they're saying, well, I'll cancel before the 30 days. And they usually don't for 2 or 3 months anyway, right? But that doesn't mean you want to just straight up lie to them. You don't lie. It'll just screw you up. So you want to make sure. So again, I put all that disclaimer out there, right? But the way we do it is we put it on the front end. So we tell people, hey, with this $9 necklace, you're also going to get a 30-day test drive of our XYZ community on Facebook, and we're going to show you blah, 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 blah. And you're going to get this, this, and that as a free bonus. And then if you like it, you continue to be billed at $9 per month until you cancel. And if you want to cancel, just email this email address. And so we give them all the info. It's right, here's the email address you can do. And then we basically restate that, and we have it in the copy, and we say it again in the bottom part where we have our frequently asked questions. And then we make them check a little box when they purchase saying, yes, I want to sign up for this thingy. And that's it. So we do it on the front end because that way every single customer we get, we know is a recurring customer. I don't have to worry about the drop off between we get 100 sales here and only like 10 of them take the upsell to join the membership. That'll make it a lot harder and tougher. Easier for me to just do it on the front end. It may reduce conversions a bit on the front end, but it just makes it for every purchase you get, you know you're going to get a recurring billing out of it. And the magic stuff is, as long as your cost to acquire a customer is either the same or less than your cost to fulfill and your average order, if your average order value is higher than your cost to fulfill and your cost to acquire a customer, then you're golden. So you just have to know your AOV, or your average cart value, I think is what they say in ClickFunnels, whatever. But that's like the most important number.
So you're basically setting it up where everybody, now do they have to click the little checkbox so everybody's enrolled in this free 30 days, or it's an opt-in to where
No, that's the only option to purchase.
That is brilliant. So
Yeah.
then you have that customer, and it's basically then it's yours to lose at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we about 40% of our audience or of our subscription will drop off by the 4th month. So just so you know the numbers, right? So 40% will drop off by the 4th month. So you always have to be advertising this. The thing is, if you're getting 20 or 30 sales a day, that would typically just be like an average business or whatever. But now that you have a recurring element to it, that's 20 or 30 recurring customers every single day. That compounds very quickly.
That's
brilliant. I mean, you can get 1,000 customers in like a month, and that's a $9,000 a month recurring revenue if you're charging $9, right? It's not that hard.
That's brilliant. Okay, so now we've talked about how to sell it. Can you please go into how to fulfill on that membership? And the secret sauce is, how do we automate it so that we don't have to be typing stuff in or filming stuff or like messing with things on a day-to-day?
So there's a couple ways you can do it. I'm a fan. It depends on what niche you're going to. Usually when I say sophisticated, I don't mean smart or stupid. I just mean savvy with marketing. So the less sophisticated your audience is with marketing, the less you really got to do in regards to fulfillment. So here's what I mean by that. If I'm talking to a bunch of gardeners, for example, who love gardening, and I sold them a gardening necklace, and now they're in a how to do gardening type of membership. I don't know anything about gardening. So what I would do is I go to idplr.com. I pay, I think it's like $80 a year or $80 one time. Again, there's tons of sites. You can probably find it for free, but tons of these little PLR sites. I'm going to download everything related to gardening in there. And I'm going to spend maybe a day or 2 days or pay someone to do this for me. And I'm just going to make sure I'm going to buy like 500 articles or whatever it is. Each one of those articles are going to be loaded up into an autoresponder. So as soon as somebody buys, they're in our autoresponder sequence, which is going to send them every single day an article, a PLR video that may have been created, or an ebook or whatever it is. But every single day or every couple of days, they're going to be sent an email with a bunch of cool stuff. And that's your fulfillment. For $9 a month, they're going to be shown how to do X, Y, Z, and that's all fulfilled through email. So the less sophisticated they are, that's what you can do. That's very easy. You literally just kind of have to run ads and make sure that's good on the front end, because your back end is already automated. So there's that. But if they're more sophisticated, for example, if I'm a marketer selling to other marketers, that's a sophisticated audience, because they know what a webinar is. They know at the end of a webinar, probably going to sell you something, right? It's not like it's not like they don't know. And so with them, you have to do a little bit extra, because they know that the emails is just, come on, man, you're just automating that, doing something else. And so for that, you usually want to throw them into a Facebook group, and even add a once a week type of Facebook Live component. And that in itself could be huge value. It's only $9 a month. Then you're not charging $100 a month where you have to do crazy stuff. Just a once a week Facebook Live, for example, in a group could be a fulfillment type of deal. But again, if you're just going after niche markets, which is what I would suggest, other than the business niche, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. It's just too easy because they're not marketing savvy. So if you're a level 1 marketer, you're already above everybody else that's not a marketer. So it's like, it's almost unfair.
That's brilliant. So when it comes to loading this up and getting it ready, do you always invest the time before you start running ads to build out the whole back end sequence once you buy this content?
Good point. No, I don't. I don't actually do any of that until I get like a handful of buyers. So I just worry about the front end stuff. I know I mean, I do my due diligence to make sure I can find PLR. So I'll download a bunch of PLR content before we launch a funnel, because I don't want to launch a funnel, get a bunch of customers, then say, okay, well, now I have nothing to do on the back end. Like, I don't want to be stuck in that situation. So I'll download the info, know it's there, but then I won't upload it or integrate or do any of that stuff until we've proven within the first week or whenever it is that we can spend $100 and make 70% or more back. If we can do that, then I'll work on the fulfillment part for the back end, because now it matters. Because if we don't make those sales, then it's irrelevant anyway.
And so do you still pitch the membership up front even when you haven't loaded up that content?
Yes.
And how do you make sure it, like, there seems to be a gap there? Because if somebody says yes in the first day of your 7-day test and you're not loaded up yet, then like, when you make a sale, do you immediately go do it, or like, what's that
No,
time?
I just wait a week. So I wait for my entire 1 week period. And then if it's a failed test and it's not going to work, then we just cancel everybody from the membership. So it's not that big of a deal. We still send them the front end stuff. So we make our whatever revenue we did on the front end. Probably lost money if we're canceling the product, to be honest, but doesn't matter. But I wait that week. That's why we have the 1 week period, because we want to make sure we're not jumping the gun too soon. We get 3 sales our first day and think we're like, oh my God, this is hot. But then if we get no more sales for the rest of the week, then it could have just been like not a fluke, but it's like, okay, all the golden eggs came at like this day. Every other day was a dud. So let's maybe switch the product, right? But yeah, I for $100, you're probably, I mean, I don't know, maybe you're gonna have like less than 10 customers, more than likely. So I don't know. I mean, for that, I can just cancel 10 customers. It'd be a $90 a month recurring income. I'm okay with losing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, this is brilliant, man. Like, why aren't more people doing this? Do they just not know?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think people could do things in fads, right? So, selling on ClickBank was really popular years ago, like 10 years ago. Selling on ClickBank was like the thing to do. You had a big video sales letter. You had your opt-in. You had like your tons of affiliates and all this stuff, and that was the thing to do. And then other things came. Drop shipping came. My buddy Chris Record and Robert Nav and a lot of them sold the crap out of drop shipping and Shopify and all this. So that thing blew up, and it works. There's nothing wrong with it. Obviously, it works. But the thing is, people do things in fads most times, and they're scared of testing new stuff, which kind of makes sense, because you don't want to be the person sometimes, testing things for the first time, because then you're the one who's going to face the consequences of it not working, because you're shooting in the dark. You don't know what's going to happen. So I understand following the fad, but you can also just kind of think about it. Like, I always try to simplify everything. A lot of times people who are marketers like to overcomplicate things because it sounds smarter, it sounds cooler for your product, whatever it is. But I try to keep things as simple as possible. If I had to make some money, could I sell a $9 necklace if I really found a good necklace? I probably could. And I probably wouldn't need to be the best copywriter in the world, because I would just find a cool necklace. And then if I could just slide in a few sentences saying they're going to get a free 30-day test drive of some XYZ group, that doesn't require any serious copy. I'm just saying you're going to get a test drive. Well, if I can do that, then maybe I can just do a digital thing. So my mind works on, how can I simplify this as quickly as possible? So instead of taking a month to build a funnel, we can do it in a week, right? It doesn't require some crazy voodoo. So I don't know why people don't do it, but I would suspect that it's more of just following trends and not necessarily wanting to be, not that I'm a trend setter, but not necessarily wanting to be a trendsetter and start new, right? Because tripwires have been around forever, before the internet. People, when when marketers would use space ads in magazines or in newspapers, what they would do is basically a tripwire funnel. They'd say, hey, send in $3 and we're going to send you a free report. And that free report was mailed to them. Well, that's a tripwire, because that free report was now selling them on a $69 package or a $59 package that they would have to send another check to and get it mailed to them. The only thing we've done with the internet is speed up what people did like 100 years ago. That would take them 6 months. We can just do it in like a few minutes, right? It's like the entire funnel now is compressed into a few minutes versus a few months. So what worked then will probably work now. We just have to think about how we can adapt it to the 21st century. So hopefully that helps. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. That helps. And it also, I think, is an invitation to people to say, hey, this is something that not a lot of other people are doing. And this business model could be the right fit for you. I mean, it makes sense. Carlos, you've proven it. And it's really now up to you guys and gals listening and watching to take action on this, because the opportunity's there. The door has just opened up for you, and you have a lane to run in now. So Carlos, I do want to thank you very, very much for sharing your valuable time and for really opening up the kimono here and sharing the business model and telling us your story and everything. I tremendously appreciate it, and I tremendously appreciate you. And yeah, how can people learn more about you, get more involved, and press that easy button a little harder?
Yeah, well, hey, if anybody wants help having us build the entire funnel for you and building the entire automated online business for you and everything, just go to yourcasestudy.com, yourcasestudy.com. I'll say it one more time, yourcasestudy.com. Check it out, throw your name, email, and whatnot. And then you're going to be taken to a little video that you can watch showing you basically what we talked about here on how our funnels work. And then you'll have the opportunity to book a breakthrough session with somebody on my team. They'll give you all the details about how we can build the funnel for you and make sure it's a good fit.
That is amazing. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only do you know how it works, but now you can simply press a button and Carlos's team can do it for you. I really don't see how it gets any better than that. So I would highly encourage everybody to go to that link. And I'll also put that in either the description on YouTube or the show notes for podcast people out there. So, anyways, thank you very much, Carlos. You're the man. You rock. Thank you to everybody who's watching and listening. Y'all rock. Thank you. And I'll see everybody on the next episode. Take care now.